Morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Very happy to see you all here. Go ahead and drop in the chat where you're from this morning. I always love reading that part. Tell me where you're coming in from. Good morning, Alex.
Hello, Kelsey. You look good. Good morning.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
I always look good.
Of course you do. Yes, that's true.
It's finally not raining. Can you imagine?
I think I might have to set my headset up.
Mhm.
I'm going to put this on. Is that okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Beautiful. Oh, now that I'm not on the phones, I hate wearing a headset, but sometimes. Sometimes I got to. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We'll get started in just a moment here. Go ahead and drop in the chat where you're joining us from. We'd love to see it. Let us know what company you're with or what area you're in. Bonus points if you're from somewhere I want to visit, which isn't hard to earn. So
Where do you want to visit?
lots of places. Lots
I
of
just
places.
checked Romania like 12 hours ago. You want to visit Romania?
I want to visit Romania. Yeah, I have a friend from there. I also want to visit Portugal, Petra, Paris, all the P's, Um, Poland. Gosh, the list is long. Oh, Portugal, yes. See, my roommate is my roommate here is from Portugal, so he's from Porto. So he's like, we're gonna go. So he's always showing me Instagram videos and stuff, and Lisbon, and his aunt is from Algarve. So we were gonna go there for Christmas, and then I ended up back in the States instead, which was good, but I wasn't swimming in the ocean at Christmas time, so it wasn't quite that good.
Yeah, it's quite cold.
In Oregon, yeah.
No, the ocean as well. Still, it's winter.
Yeah.
But Porto is very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Our IR in Poland, they did an amazing event in Hard Rock Cafe to launch Eurovision sponsorship, like I think 1 or 2 weeks ago in Porto. So
Ooh, Lisbon. It's a rainy day here too, if it helps any. At least it was last time I looked.
it's fun.
It's sunny. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I don't see any sun, Alex. I'm not that far away from you. There's some clouds out there.
We need to lie to people.
You're terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, he's the worst. All right. Well, this morning we get to talk to you guys about multi-generational sailing. We want it selling and sailing, I suppose both versions of that word are accurate. Because we want to, Alex, you're recording this, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. We want to make sure you guys understand who our audiences are, who our targets are, who we're seeing on board. And the amazing thing, Alex and I were actually chatting a little while ago, that the amazing thing is that we cater to everyone, right? We have a product that fits every demographic. So we're going to show you what the demographics are and what they're looking for, basically. All right, well, let's jump in. First thing we're going to talk about is our timeline, right? So we have a number of different generations that are out there. So we start with the silent generation. This is anyone who was basically born before 1945. At this point, if they were in a generation prior to that, they're just kind of lumped into that if they're still around. Then you get your baby boomers. You like that? I mean, to be fair, my grandmother-in-law just passed away at 104 years old, so she was not part of the silent generation, but she's part of the silent generation,
Yeah.
right? Um, that's just that's how it goes. Someday we're going to be in whatever generation is before us or after us or whatever. Um, Baby boomers, that would be after the second war, and then Gen X is a big population right now that we're going to talk about. We've got millennials next, which is actually where Alex and I both fall, opposite ends of the spectrum, but but in there. Um, in and then we've got Gen Z. So these are the high level generations that we have. Gen Z is the up and comers. They're the ones who we're seeing a lot of starting to start cruising, and then Gen Alpha is the kids that we're looking at, right? So we'll have just a little bit about them as well, so you can kind of understand that market. There are two micro generations that actually are appearing, and there's more and more information about them. So I actually happen to be a Zennial. Narrowing down my date of birth here for you guys, I'm sure you can figure out about how old I am by this point, right? I am very much a Zennial. I fall right in the middle there. And it's amazing because you got the two different sides of the spectrum that you're looking at, the Gen X things, but also the millennial things. So I fall into two. Zillennials are also kind of on that cusp of being in both generations. So they also identify as some of the things from both places, from both generations. So these are micro groups that we're not going to talk about today, but Alex is going to send out some documentation afterwards, and we are going to include the information on that documentation for you because they are a market as well, and selling to them is a different dynamic in addition to these main generational levels. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. So our silent generation, those guests who were born before 1945. Some of the characteristics that you're really going to see here is that they're very loyal. So they're going to be loyal to businesses with which they spend money, and they value stability in that way. They also want respect, and they value relationships that they do business with. So if we can respect them, they're going to respect us, and they're going to be loyal to us, right? When you're marketing to the silent generation, you want to keep it simple. You don't want to have all the bells and whistles and flashy things and lights and everything. Keep it simple. Another thing, I understand this more now because I worked in a senior living community a number of years back, uh, right before I came to Royal Caribbean. And the requirement was that anytime we were printing documentation, the font was always at least a size 14 because it's harder to read the small things. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I always have my glasses on, right? Because as soon as I take them off, I'm basically blind. Um, what was that?
Are you a silent generation?
My eyes are. Just the eyeballs. um, Basically, when I take my glasses off, I have a hard time seeing. I can't focus in on the words as well as I used to be able to. I went for a number of years without wearing them, but I was legally blind at one point, so in my right eye. So I understand what it's like to not be able to see. And when we are making things too small, these guys lose a lot of the context, a lot of the information. So watch for that, right? And then additionally, we want to encourage loyalty with these guys. What can you do to help them be loyal? So Crown and Anchor members are a great, the Crown and Anchor membership that is a great fit for these guys to give them that piece to be loyal. All right, Alex is going to share with us about our consumer profiles on all of these generations.
Yeah. So we thought it's going to be a good idea not only to show you some insights on the generations themselves, but also show what data we have on this generation. Because obviously, like, we are a huge company and we track every single step of a person on the way to get to the ship and then on the ship. And it's actually all these numbers, and you're going to see through the webinar that it's actually a proof of what Christy said in the beginning, that our ships, our product is for everyone. So yeah, we don't actually have a lot of silent generation coming from Europe, the EMEA, but still, I mean, we have enough of them to have some data. So they're not spending quite a lot of money to get on the ship. So APD, which is average per day, so basically like average ticket price for one day for one person, is probably the lowest around all generations. but they are ready to book like one of the first, more than half a year for the cruise. They mostly travel as couples, like mostly. You barely can see any silent generation staying with a child in the stateroom. At the same time, I believe that in some um, countries where I looked through, like Italy or France, where there is like a tradition to go in a multi-generational level, families. So we cannot see it like clearly, but we can see that like 10, 12 people are traveling all together. So you can have a look at this area as well. They mostly travel to Europe, and I get it because it's not that easy to take a long haul flight from Europe to the US. So we see the lowest percentage of Caribbean in this generation, but they love repositioning cruises. You get on a ship, you don't need a flight, you get 3 weeks, you sail to the US, you look around at the seas, romantic, and all this kind of stuff. But look at the most popular ship. It's Jewel, sailing from Amsterdam to fjords in Northern Europe, like Iceland, Ireland, British Islands, and all in June, which is honestly, I have no idea why. If you have any silent generation guests, target June sailings, and probably they love it.
You know, one of the things about the Jewel sailings is that the ship is that traditional classic cruise ship, and they're not going to have to walk as far. A lot of these guys are using some sort of mobility device, a cane or something, or a walker, something like that. And so it's a smaller ship, and they're still wanting to get out and see the world, right? They're not all about, again, those bells and whistles. They want to keep it simple. They want to enjoy the classic things in life. So that would be my opinion of part of why this is
And no
such a
annoying
popular
children.
option.
No annoying children. So
Way less annoying children. That's true. That's true. Alex isn't on Jewel, so you don't have to worry about him annoying you. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about our baby boomers. So these guys have big spending power. Um, they have the most purchasing power and discretionary income. And of course, they've lived much of their lives without modern technology, but they've embraced it with the use of social media, mobile devices, online shopping. They're motivated by good deals and can be loyal to the brands from which they actually choose to buy. So when you're looking at how to market to them, you want to use traditional advertising like print, radio, and TV that drive in-store purchases and in-person interactions. But social media can be an entry point into those brands or product research and easy online shopping. So they really like compelling videos and clear marketing. So they don't want to have a lot of things that can be confusing to them. They don't want to have a lot of things to click on or different things like that. So those are some of the different keys that we're looking at here for them.
they spend a little more than silent generation, but still they sell mostly in inside cabins. They also book quite in advance. And this is a thing that you're going to see further, that it's one of the characteristics. They pre-plan everything in advance. Again, we have a lot of couples, but this generation is more open to travel to the US, to Caribbean. So here I grouped all together all of the Caribbean that we are offering. It's 7 night, it's short Caribbean, it's long Caribbean. So altogether, every fourth boomer is traveling to the US sailing. And here we get Asia. Asia is growing for us in the last couple of years since COVID, I would say. And some markets are actually generating thousands of guests going to Asia now. So have a look at this destination as well. And again, Jewel. We back to Jewel, but they choose Jewel for the itinerary of fjords. So here, when I was preparing, I started to think like, what is primary? Are they choosing the ship? That is a small ship for the same reason as silent generation, or are they choosing an itinerary because we are not offering fjords on any other ship? So maybe you can help us and answer this question. So drop a message in the chat what you think, because honestly, I have absolutely no idea. That not afraid to say this.
At least you're honest about it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it. All right. Well, next up, we are going to talk about Generation X, Gen X. So these guys are a big portion of our business, right? They're still in that range. But they tend to be skeptical, more skeptical about big brands. They tend to be a little more cautionary when they're looking at where they're going to spend their money. They're hesitant about change and innovation, so they tend to be slow to jump on board with new trends, new things, and they stick to what they know. They really do respond well to nostalgia, though. My husband has a friend who buys toys. Like he loves his toys, his action figures and different things from his childhood. Like he's constantly searching for them. He's constantly looking for them. And a lot of the marketing that I see out there by t-shirt brands and different things like that, especially in the States, but just in general is those things that are targeting that nostalgic period for these guys. So uh, they have had modern technology for the majority of their lives, a good part of it. So they're going to go with traditional advertising. They do like loyalty programs and word of mouth, email, and social marketing. They will respond really well to published reviews. So if it's not a again, they're skeptical, right? So they're looking at those reviews with a hawk's eye, right? They're really digging in and they're like, "Oh, that's a paid one. Oh, that's a paid one," right? But if you can get actual honest reviews, they're going to just soak those up. They're going to love them. They also want value provided. They want to know. So using resources to make sure that you are talking about the value of a Royal Caribbean cruise, dig in and show them why we are the brand that with the most value for them. And they do love their rewards and their loyalty programs. So these guys are going to be Crown and Anchor members. They're going to work on getting their gold status and then their platinum status, and then they're moving into emerald, and then they're moving into diamond, and then they're going to be talking about their diamond plus when they get there. And finally, when they get to pinnacle, they're going to be so excited, and they're going to be the ones wearing their pins, their badges proudly. They're going to have their stuff printed on their door because this is what pinnacle guests do, right? They care a lot about that loyalty reward program scheme.
My mom, she has, I think, maybe 30 cards in her wallet, just like in card holder, because she goes to one supermarket, next day she goes to another supermarket. They have different loyalty programs, and she's gonna go buy some new shoes. They have another loyalty program, and she's just
Take all the rewards programs, do it, sign up.
But this is actually an interesting thing because, okay, like my mom is Gen X, my grandma is baby boomer, and my sisters are Gen Z. So you're all surrounded by other generations, and it's not that obviously we have conflicts because we are different, but because of like if you go deeper in this conflict and find the origin of it, it kind of might help you understand values of other generation, and it may help you then later sell it to outsiders. So learn on your family and learn on your friends. So let's go back to the consumer profile of what is it, Gen X? Yeah. So they already start to spend a little more. And they already start to travel with children. They still, it can be um, basically the first generation, I guess, for us in terms of like born years that is still traveling with children, or already with children. I don't know, still probably. Yeah. So average age is around 50. They still book like half a year before the cruise, but you see, it's only like half, a little bit more than half of the guests are traveling um, as couples. Can you hear me well?
You're a little bit like a little bit off.
I will try to speak a bit louder, I guess.
That's better.
Yeah, so they, as you can see, travel much more to the distant long-haul destinations. So if you combine Caribbean and Asia, it's altogether 40% of trips. And don't forget about like Alaska, Australia, they still travel, and only half goes to Europe. At the same time, when they go to Europe, they go in August. And this is the reason why we have so many families traveling, because it's like the hottest season for family trips. So it again makes sense. And so Generation X for East Mediterranean, as you can see, they travel on Odyssey from Rome to East Med, or they travel from Ravenna to Adriatic. Croatia, wonderful destination.
Awesome.
Have you been to Ravenna this year, Christy?
Not yet.
No, okay.
I haven't traveled outside of the island here. Done Scotland, but everything else has been within. I mean, it's only February 9th, so I still have time, but no, I need to get down there. I need to get down there. All right. So next up, Alex and I, we fought over who got to talk about this section because we're both millennials and we know this, right? So millennials are going to be fairly tech savvy. That being said, I'm still going to turn and ask the youngest person in the room how to do something most of the time.
This is actually our photo from Perfect Day last summer. It's
Yeah.
on the right, Christy on the left. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's us. And this is the largest generation in history. So brands need to market to a wider audience to build a large customer base because there's so much variety within the millennial generation. Millennials, we tend to place importance on authentic brand messaging, and we're going to seek brands that support social or environmental causes, different things like that, because that is something that is of value to us, something that we care about. We do rely a lot on user-generated content based on the number of reels that I watch. I would say this is absolutely accurate. This is me. Wow, they got me. And we value word of mouth advertising. If I follow someone on social media and they talk about something a product that they're using, I am more likely to consider purchasing it. This is personal, right? I'm more likely to consider purchasing it because someone who I know is talking about it. I've never met this person in my life, but they're not just a random person on a commercial who I have no relation to, right? So we do value that a lot, is people that we know, people that we feel that connection to on an ongoing basis. We also, millennials, I keep saying we tend to prefer brands that offer lower prices rather than price drops from offers and deals. So getting those sales is not necessarily the key for us. And building value is going to be very important because we need to show that even though the price isn't the lowest price out there, it's absolutely worth the value. Marketing, multi-channels, lots of user-generated content, influencer marketing, like I said, social media marketing, content marketing. So we got a lot of different ways in mobile. We span probably the biggest group of technology. Like I've got most of the apps, right? I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, X, I'm on what's the other? TikTok. I've got a TikTok because, I've got Snapchat because there's always someone that I know. So I need to have all of these different things. And so I end up on social media a lot and I watch a lot of people. For millennials, values matter. That is important for us. And experiences. We are very much a generation of experiences being the key. So when you're building that value, it's about the experience that we're going to have. And then make sure you're using social media for us. We're on our phones all the time. It's ridiculous. I'm a weirdo. Now I actually have 3 phones because I've got my US number on an iPhone that my sister sent me, and then I've got my work phone, and then I've got my personal phone, and I'm always on one of them. Something has always got battery left, so it's I'm always floating around playing online, just mindlessly scrolling quite often. So make sure you're in our feeds. Make sure we're seeing Royal Caribbean. Make sure we're seeing your brand. Make sure we're seeing you in those scrolling days.
Yeah, we had a webinar about the social media marketing a couple of weeks ago, and you can watch it on YouTube because we uploaded it there, and it's very interesting. Yeah. But honestly, like you said about these reels and this kind of things, you know, sometimes I have this feeling that when I'm on a very boring meeting, I want to swipe up like, you know, like a next TikTok, you know, because it honestly is just affecting your brain. But yeah, myself, I took a flight yesterday, 3 hours flight, no phone, but I had my tablet with me, so I was watching Netflix. So it's all kind of you always have a screen in front of you. It's like
Yeah,
Black Mirror
true.
Live. So, millennials, we have money and we want to spend this money, as you can see in APD amount. This is a generation that spends the most. Average age is quite low, 35 years old. And this is a tendency that, honestly, myself, I pre-plan trips, maybe 2 months, 3 months maximum. Sometimes I can book. So last 2 weeks ago, I went to Germany. I booked a flight 2 days before going there. It's just because, you know, plans are for boomers, honestly. So, uh, yeah, we book it like last minute. And you can see that, yeah, half of millennials are traveling with children, because this is actually the generation, young parents who has children under 12, maybe now, if you're 35 and
I
you're
went
like
to
early.
a high school reunion 5 years ago this year, and one of my more than one of my my classmates at our 20-year reunion had infants.
Yeah.
We have kids who are 5 now. I'm
Mhm.
like, how are you managing this? 5-year-old? Are you not exhausted all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a like we've got I've got friends who have kids who are graduating with their master's degrees and friends who have kids who are 5 years old. So we have a span just in my
Yeah.
age. Like,
But it's actually a funny thing about millennials, because you can meet a millennial who is like an old soul, who is like boring type for me, or you can meet like a 40-year-old party type. And
yeah.
it's just because the generation, as you said, we are looking forward to experiences and creating memories. It's more like
And it's
they,
the biggest generation
yeah,
today.
because,
So there's a lot of variety in our group.
yeah. So if you look at travel destination and most popular sailings, more or less same as Gen X. It's not that different. Still, you know, half goes to Europe, and I would maybe link this with the number of families traveling on our ships, because again, if you have like a 5-year-old child, a long haul flight is not the best experience.
No.
But going to Rome in August or in July or to Barcelona, it's absolutely different, and you're gonna enjoy amazing ship. Um, if you joined on Tuesday our wonderful Max and Matt, I think Matt is even on this webinar. Hi, Matt. Where they shared their experience of traveling with children, with their own children, on our ships. I guess you kind of felt what it means. And I know that many of our IRs are traveling with their children as well, so you kind of have this experience firsthand. So yeah, millennials should be your audience, I guess, even if they are not yet. You should start working with them, because they spend money and they have money, and they want to travel.
Awesome. All right. We'll dig into Gen Z for just a couple minutes here. So, Gen Z is going to be the most diverse generation. And outside of the up and coming Gen Alpha, they are the most tech savvy generation at this point in time. And while they're still young, these guys hold a large amount of spending power because of the types of careers that they're finding. They do value financial stability because of the stress they experience surrounding personal debt. And they're going to rely heavily on reviews and recommendations through social media more than other generations. And they engage with brands who use social selling techniques. Um, these guys are also less likely to sign up for loyalty programs, as I've seen with like my roommate, for example, despite looking for ways to save money. So they do not have Alex's mom's wallet full of cards that are loyalty cards.
Only that.
um, right? So some marketing strategies. These guys, they like influencer marketing, they like reviews, videos, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, mobile interactions, and social selling and advertising. So these guys are really, as much as I have all the things, these guys also have all of the things. Uh, but they're also less interested in selling, right? They want to have influencers who are talking about things without selling the thing. They want to have um, a creative approach to learning about something. So we want to be authentic. We want to make sure that they are um, seeing values and actions that are demonstrating what the causes mean. And of course, videos are a huge thing for these guys. So it's a really solid way to make sure that you are selling to them is using videos. And again, be creative in your marketing for these guys. This is what they're looking for. Alex?
Yeah. Creativity and personalization are actually trends in digital marketing right now. So yeah. So Gen Z. Oh, I have two sisters, Gen Z. It's so hard. Just their approach to life is so different from normal people. And
That's hilarious.
but you know, it's not even so. This understanding Gen Z is not only important for you to find the right customers, but look, like I meet with many agents, and I can see now that Gen Z is coming to the office now, and managing them and working with them is absolutely different from like millennials, Gen X, and others, because like they have different values. They value their work-life balance more than we do. So yeah, anyway, they share the trend me and Christy have is very last minute bookings. So it's like 5 months, 5.5 months. And another interesting thing is that we have a lot of singles traveling by that. Is it because they are very young and they haven't yet found someone? Or is it just because they kind of value their own space? I don't know. But this might be an audience that you can target to single cabins. They are more open still to travel long haul, like Caribbean is the highest here, and this what's called work travel program in the US where you can just basically go work for 3 months in the US, get experiences. It's just for young people as well. But still, when we look at the most popular sailings, Odyssey, Symphony, August, it's kind of like attractive for everyone, these two ships. And good news is that Odyssey is going to be with us in Europe probably forever now in summer. Uh, and
Awesome.
yeah, class is still coming every summer. So yeah.
All right. We're going to do our last generation real quick. We're going to talk about Gen Alpha. We're just going to talk about who they are so you guys have that understanding. These guys are the youngest generation right now, and they are very influenced by social media. If you know anyone between the ages of about 4 and 14, they're probably sitting on YouTube watching other people have experiences. So they are very into social media, especially YouTube, very heavy YouTube based on all the nieces and nephews I have. And the thing to remember here with these guys is that they influence their parents. I can't tell you how many things my niece has done where they have a color day and you eat all of your food based on the color, based on someone on YouTube doing it. Or you do a yes day where you're going to say yes to everything. Like these are the sort of things that are happening in these YouTube videos, and this is what kids are looking at. So find a kid around you and see what they're watching. They're either watching a Minecraft video or someone else playing in the arcade. That's my my find. So that's going to wrap us up for today. We hope you guys have enjoyed this session. We hope you've learned something from it. I do apologize for going over a couple of minutes. I hope that you will scan this QR code. Alex can also send out the link to this for you so that you can give us some feedback. What do you think about this morning's session? How did it help you? Did you walk away with anything new? Is there something that you wanted to hear that you didn't learn about? Drop drop that information in this feedback form, and we look forward to meeting with you guys again. Thank you so much for joining us for our sessions, and have a great day.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.